3. Social media marketing strategy. Social media offers an advantage through the creation and distribution of valuable content to attract and retain clearly defined audiences. What does this mean? Social media is a tool. You guys have been using it as an entertainment device primarily. You need to start using it like a tool, something that you can build something with. How do we get to our end goal? What is our goal? Well, we get to a goal by having a strategy. And you can use social media to market strategically. So we're going to outline strategies and tactics for how a company can incorporate social media into its business. I'm going to give you a few tips in this lecture. Now, what is a social media marketing plan? It's a living document. Living document means things change, right? That outlines an organization's social media goals and guides the actions needed to achieve those goals. All right? It's that plan you keep coming back to and you keep tweaking it. That's why it's a living document. So being active on social media without having a proper strategy in place can be a detriment to brands. It's like all over the place, good and bad. Your customers are confused by your messaging. You're marketing here, okay? So you need to be able to have a consistent message to send to your potential clients. So there's a few steps here, 10 in fact. Here's the first 5. So step 1, we want to identify our target market and create personas, okay? So when you are starting a business or you're working for a business, who is your customer? And I teach this in the sales course as well. But you need to create a persona around your target market. So let's say that your target market is moms age 35 to 45 who have 2 kids in school, that have X number of hours and Y number of dollars to spend on your service. You know what? Define that person greatly and feel like you're having a conversation with them in your marketing materials on social media. I find it helpful, and again, I teach this in professional sales, to even name that person. So let's say your target person is Susan. Have a conversation with Susan. How can you make your brand, your service more interesting to Susan? Okay? Now, take a look at your existing social media audit and does it sell to your target market? Now, establish some goals, objectives, and metrics. Metrics are how are you going to measure if you're reading your goals and objectives. So if you're meeting those, is it 38 sales in a week? Is it 3 sales a day? You need a metric that you can be able to measure against. Now, social media has reach metrics, which we've talked about very lightly so far in this class, and we'll get more into. But I'm looking to reach 100 potential clients a day with my posts. And then how many of those clients, the reach, am I converting into visits to our website? And how many of those visits am I converting to sales? So you got to be able to track your metrics to know if what you're doing is working. And if it's not, you can tweak your strategy and change it. That's why it's a living document. So step 4, determine your resources, roles, and responsibilities. Who's going to post? When are they going to post? How are they going to post? Okay. What resources are we going to put towards our social media marketing campaign? You need to establish a tone of voice. It doesn't need to be, 20 different people posting with all 20 different personalities. There needs to be a consistent voice. That voice that's Nike. That voice that is Toyota. The voice they don't have, you establish a consistent voice and people are used to coming to speak, to listen to you speak rather on social media. Now, that's the first 5 steps. What's the second? Step 6, you got to make sure you're on the right platform, the right social media platform. Things that might work on Pinterest don't work on Facebook. If you're on a sports site, you might not want to be, on LinkedIn. We're going to take a look at that, the right types of platforms in this lecture. But make sure what you're trying to do fits the platform you are using. All right. Step 7, create and optimize social media networks. Okay, so you need to get likes and follows from people who are in your target market, which we established, in step 1. Optimize your face-to-face with them. Create a distribution and content strategy. How often are you going to post? What are you going to post? All right. Step 9, create a social media content calendar and schedule posts. We'll have an opportunity to create a social media content calendar in this course, and we'll use it as an assignment and also in Mimic Social. Now, step 10, track, analyze, again with those metrics that you established in the previous 5 steps, okay? Track, analyze, and then tune. Tune what you're trying to do. Is that voice reaching? Is it not? Do you need to change? Make sure your metrics are where they want to be and your conversion rates are there. All right. So let's identify a target market. Let's go back to step 1. All right. It's important to collect a variety of demographic and interest and behavior data on your target market. We do this a lot in entrepreneurship here at SMC. We have, people have, hey, I got this great idea for this product. I want to target youth soccer players with my new shin guards, and they're specifically for females that are playing in the back half of the defense on a soccer field. Okay, you really kind of narrowed your target market. There might be like 18 potential customers, whereas if you could come with something more broad for soccer, you could target hundreds, thousands. So don't get too narrow, but also get specific so you can have that conversation with that specific person. Let's say we named Susan before. Some considerations here, the demographics and things. Age, gender, education, location, job title, company size, their income level, their pain points. What's pain points? Things that bother them. Okay? When you get into marketing and sales, when you get into entrepreneurship, you're not offering a product or service. You're offering a solution. A solution to what? To pain points. What are these people's interests? What are their values? What are their behaviors? What's their family life like? How can you help them with that? What are their hobbies? Set some goals. What are your customers' goals? What's their most used social network? If they're all on Facebook and not on Instagram, you need to know that. Where's the time spent online? Because that's where you want to be. That's where you want to advertise. And how do they purchase? Do they buy in person? Do they buy online? Do they buy over the phone? How's it bought? All of these things will help you define your target market, okay? So you guys are coming off a chapter where we're creating a personal brand. That's kind of like, hey, this is who I am. This is who you're going to target, okay? Use these demographics here, all right? Create a persona. Hey, we were just talking about you're gonna create what's your personal brand. This is not that. This is the persona of your customer. So this is, in my previous example, Susan, all right? Here we're switching over to Frank. Customer persona is a representation of the customer's target market based on the data collected from the existing target customers. So all of this stuff that you've put together, we're going to start filling some boxes. Here's the background. We named him Frank the Founder. Okay, this is who we're trying to sell to. Here's his background. Here's his demographics. Here's his goals. Here's his challenges, common objections, biggest fears. Solve these things. Hobbies and interests. This is who your typical customer is. All right, Frank Founder. All right, you're going to then try to figure out, and here's another one for Steve. He's 47. How does he find us? What's his problems? What doesn't he want? What he wants? Let's go here. How does he buy based on price and expertise? Know your customer. Solve a problem for them. But everybody's like, oh yeah, my customer is any college kid, 18 to 22. That's not a persona. You need Bobby and Susie. Bobby's 21. He's a junior. He's starting to look in the job market, and he needs to buy our designer ties to get ready. Susie is a sophomore who's looking for her first internship, and she needs to consider our shoes for X, Y, and Z. You need to know about Susie. You need to know about Bobby. All right? Create a persona. Then you need to conduct a social media audit. Now, let's back on out of this. A lot of you, again, are using social media right now as an entertainment medium, as a way for you to make your political things known. You need to conduct a different kind of social media audit. You need to clean it up. All right? I'm here to tell you, this is the third lecture, and it's the third time I'm going to say it at least. When I'm hiring somebody, I look at their social media first. All right? This is, that's good advice to clean it up. All right, but this social media audit is a little different. Remember when I said about targeting your specific demographic, your specific persona, and then also making sure your tone is right? When you're creating a business related social media marketing strategy, you need to make sure your social media is matching the messaging you want. So you need to monitor the internet to determine what is being said about a particular brand or topic or industry, and make sure your strategy is shaping your topic, is well within your industry, and is attractive to your persona. So that's why step one is so important, is figuring out who you're talking to. Step two is get in there and look at your own social media, make sure you're having the right thing. Have a strategy. Just don't say it and spray it and have different moods every day. Start by determining which channels need monitoring. So what do you need to be looking at? Create, which platforms. Is it video? Is it photo? Is it content? Is it articles? What is going to reach your personas up here? All right. Create a list of keywords to monitor, and you can do this easily on Facebook. Google can do this for you. You can have keyword Google alerts. Somebody's looking for a new tie and you're going to sell ties. You can have that on there. Listen for conversations about your company, your competitor's company, because honestly, people get online and complain more than they do praise. So complaints or pain points that you could address, or perhaps a competitive advantage you can have against your competitor to take advantage of and monetize. Look at your industry, look at your community. All right. I'm a big proponent. People call me a dinosaur because I still take the newspaper. I'm a big proponent of taking the local newspaper. Why? Because I have local businesses, and where do problems in my local area arise? In the newspaper. That's where you get your local news. All right, your really local news. So if you're monitoring that, how can you reach your local community really quickly once you find a monitor and you have a solution to their pain point? You can let them know almost immediately on social media. So you can use it to target specific people too as well. So track topics that customers, influencers are talking about, as well as what's being said about the competition. Learn, learn, learn every day. Is there a positive or negative sentiment about a brand, about your brand, about a competitor's brand? What are some of the pain points customers are talking about? These are the questions you need to ask yourself, because if you can solve pain points, they will buy from you. What platforms are customers using the most? Are you spending a bunch of time on Pinterest trying to advertise your new sports website? You're wasting your time, man. They're not interested over there. You need to be on Insta. You need to be on Facebook, etc., Twitter. Are mentions going up and down in certain times of year? Is your business seasonal? Should you be spending more time, say, in the spring or in the fall or whenever? These are things you have to know. What you can do here is create a spreadsheet or a table of the company's existing accounts, so like your current customers or somebody you'd like to target, and what's the key information. Look at your competitors. What social media networks, is the company active on? If the social media profiles are they being fully optimized? Look at their followers. Like if they're on Facebook and your competitor has like no followers, Facebook's not worth it. Okay. What's the posting frequency? If they're highly successful, how often do they post? Take a look again. One of my favorite follows on Twitter is Wendy's, the hamburger restaurant. First of all, they're savage, which I love. They're hilarious, which I definitely love. But look at how frequent they post. It's not over the top. They're not trying too hard, but they're definitely active. So if you open up a competing hamburger chain, like in a small town, let's say you're not like a chain like Wendy's, but you're going to compete with a Wendy's, look and see what they're doing. You can learn a few things. It's called benchmarking. All right. The average number of engagements, what is their reach, the clicks, the video views, brand mentions, whatever. You guys, again, are using social media as entertainment. You need to be using it as an information builder. So if posts are on a brand and properly optimized across all social media channels, so are they just doing a great job? Well, you can learn from them. If they're doing a terrible job, you can definitely learn from them as well. Types of content being shared on each platform, which platforms perform best and why. The number of views and testimonials. Is customer reviews like a big deal? I mean, you think about Amazon, if you're selling on Amazon and it's linked to social media, man, they get reviews. It's crazy, like thousands. That's a whole marketplace, all right? Do you need to have some focused testimonials or reviews of your product or service, all right? Note if they're positive, neutral, or negative. What are the customer inquiries? Because customers who have pain points that aren't quite fully addressed by your competitors or aren't quite fully addressed by you, you need to know that. They'll make customer inquiries. Hey, I got a problem with this. What's going on? Or, hey, have you ever thought about this? Customers will give you a great idea. They want their problem solved. Listen to them. What's the average response rate to customer inquiries? You can learn a lot of this from competing social media accounts, or you can look at other industries and see how, like on-brand people do it. Without a doubt, when it comes to fast food, Wendy's is king. It's hilarious on Twitter. You look at ESPN's posts. You see MLB TV. You see something you're interested in. So if you're interested in sneakers and you're following Converse, which is actually owned by Nike now, what is their branding? If you're a running store, so you're going to sell running shoes, all right, what's Hoka 11 doing? And align yourself with the top performers when you're promoting your running store. And a lot of times, like a Hoka will come up beside you and support you, and followers of Hoka will follow your local running store. So ideas like that. Find comparable industries and brands, and quite frankly, we have something called Mimic Social. Mimic them. Don't mimic the ones with no followers and all the complaints. Find the ones that are successful. Benchmarking is a thing. Benchmarking is when you're looking at the competitive landscape. You're looking at other industry partners, other brands, and saying, hey, this works well for them. This doesn't. I'm going to learn from that and do what works. All right? Now, what do you need to do within your own personal brand, social media, within your own creation of persona? You need to conduct a SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Your strengths and weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We're just going to run through these real quick. Hey, man, strengths, strong brand presence across multiple media platforms. They're consistent. You feel like you get a consistent message there. They're optimizing. They have a lot of followers, a lot of post frequency. It seems like the executives must be really bought in on the social media aspect. Let's say that they have an incredible Facebook or Instagram strategy. You can learn things from them, all right, and bring that over to your own brand. What's the level of enthusiasm, all right? Now, weaknesses. Maybe just the messaging is a little disconnected. They don't always get what they want on social media. A lot of times these other fast food places or International House of Pancakes that comes out and for a day or a week or whatever and tries to become IHOB instead of IHOP, and it's International House of Burgers. And for that week, Twitter was alive with Wendy's just telling them to stay in their lane. It was hilarious. Wendy's is saying, look, we don't come to your house and try to make, pancakes. All right, don't come to our house and try to make burgers. It was hilarious. So they have low engagement in certain amount. Maybe you get like a lot of followers, but the posts just aren't hitting home. You gotta follow that. It's like, hey, I got a ton of followers, but nobody's liking your posts. That's a problem in business. Target audience, Twitter is like a bazooka. It's just too wide. It's not very dialed in. Content can't be catered to your target demographic. Maybe your tone of voice is off. You've got too many people posting. One person's ugly or engages a customer in a negative way. That's awful. Either too much engagement in a bad way or not enough engagement at all, in that you're not registering at home with your customers. Maybe look at your persona and make sure you're talking to the right people. Not enough customer inquiries. There's no way for your customers to interact with your brand. Content's just general, boring. There's no personality. Remember, you gotta show personality here. A lot of people get in academia and they play it safe. If you show a little personality and show some hard work, you can get something. Not properly budgeting is a weakness. What are your opportunities? Facebook and Instagram have a higher amount of followers within a company's target audience. Instagram and Facebook, you can really target like your personas as much as you want to do. You can engage them on both platforms. Let's say your target market makes 95% of the purchase decisions online. That's awesome. You don't have to have a store. You barely have a warehouse, and you can sell directly to them because they love buying online. You got more detailed analytics, some more management technologies, let's say, with different platforms. You can really interact and collaborate with your customers, and they can literally give you feedback that makes a great product a phenomenal product. So listen to your customers. They are the one with the pain points, the problems that you're going to solve. So make sure you involve them in the process. Partner with suppliers and co-market products. See if you can, like for example, the example I gave about the running store with Hoka 11, which is a really nice running shoe. you can kind of mimic their marketing and bring them in and promote their stuff. And I guarantee you, Hoka11 will give you a follow and start promoting you as well. Because they want their sellers to be successful. You're their client. Partner with organizations that support local charities. You know, it's always good to be seen as a great citizen. Help raise some money for a soup kitchen. Help do something. Okay, help with a leukemia run or the local 5K to help a kid, you know, get a scholarship. You know, that type of thing. Be a good citizen. Opportunities again, in like Facebook and Instagram, they have incredible analytics, easy advertising. You can promote posts and it's relatively inexpensive. You can set a budget for that, so that's a real opportunity. What threats, dude? There's a lot of competition out there. A lot of people have a strong social media presence. All right, so if you don't do your homework, you're gonna end up looking kind of bad. All right, that's one of the things where we want you to, you know, practice and mimic social, and if you're gonna stub your toe, do it in there where it's pretend world, and see what kind of outcomes you get versus getting out there and getting smoked by Wendy's hamburgers. You know, you got people not only domestically but internationally. You got a lot of competitors who come out of nowhere, and they can pose a threat. So sometimes they'll kick your butt on superior quality, or they just outperform you on social media. So that's why you're in this class, to get better than them. That's why you also have a strategy, and strategies change. That's why it's a living document. So you might have to update it if a new competitor comes in. Facebook's actually organic reach is declining a little. There's some alternatives out there. Overall market demand in general is decreasing, but Facebook's kind of peaked, but it's still massive. All right, I think you can still sell more on Facebook than you can TikTok. TikTok's just like a time suck. It's awful. So how do we establish our goals and objects and metrics? Well, goals, let's say, is to increase our brand awareness. I just want to be well known out there. My objectives is to grow the Facebook community by 100%. So let's say I've got 500 followers and I want to get to 1,000. Okay, that's 100% growth. Increase engagement by 50% per post. Let's say I get 30 interactions per post and I want to get 45, 50, that type of thing. Increase virality. That's the reaction to your content, and share. Like, people start sharing and say, "Oh, this is funny. This is hilarious." Again, I think of Wendy's just eviscerating IHOP. That was incredible. Generate 50% more traffic to the website. The trick is getting them off of social media onto your website to order things. Now, Facebook has a marketplace. Instagram has as well. That you could sell some things on there, but you can't sell everything. Just remember, every goal must have a quantifiable objectives and metrics. So what are metrics? What are my number of new fans? What kind of likes am I getting? What comments and shares? What kind of hashtags and brag mentions? All right. Brand mentions, I should say, and bragging on you. 50% growth in views for visitors per page when they get on your website. All right. These are all metrics that are reasonable. But they're also, goals need to be SMART. I mean, literally is an acronym. They need to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. Specific is stating exactly what needs to be accomplished. Don't say, "Hey, I just want to reach college kids." That's not specific. It needs to be measurable. Hey, I want to, reach male college students who play soccer with my new gear. I want to reach 150 a week. That's a measurable target. That I feel like that's attainable. Maybe we could get plus or minus a little. Relevant goals are consistent with other goals that have been established and overall goals of the company and marketing department. And they make sense. They're relevant to success. Time-based, within the next month. Okay, so be specific. Be smart. All right. Establish a tone of voice. This is that thing we're talking about, consistency. You can be passionate. You can be quirky. You can be irreverent. It's kind of like quirky, but it's a little different. We'll get into it. Or genuinely authentic. I have found that most people get a lot of follows when they feel like people are being authentic and not fake. Passion is contagious. All right. So description. We're passionate about changing the way the world works. What do? We use strong verbs. We're champions. We're cheerleaders. We make people feel better about themselves. Okay. So what do you not do? Don't be lukewarm, wishy-washy, or use a passive voice. You do not want to be boring. All right. That's one of those things I try not to be in these presentations. And I I try to use some passion in the way I teach, and hopefully that A, keeps you asleep, and B, makes you a little more interested in, the topic. Quirky, don't be afraid to challenge the status quo or be yourselves. Use unexpected examples, kind of crazy type advertising. Take contrarian viewpoints, express yourself, like a little sarcasm, that type of thing. Do not use too much slang or obscure references. Don't use jargon, overplayed examples. I think outside the box. Don't lose sight of who your audience is, that persona you're trying to get. Okay, you can be quirky without being irrelevant. Now, irreverent. All right, description is we take a product seriously, but we don't take ourselves seriously. So you can kind of make fun of yourself. To me, that's one of the most attractive things. That it's a little quirky, but if you can make fun of yourself, you can be playful. You can use colorful illustrations and examples, but don't be too casual. All right, don't be obscure pop culture. Don't be obscene. There's nothing about this that should be obscene either. Now, authentic. We're going to give you the tools and insight you need to make your job easier. They may not always be, through our product, but we're going to give you an answer either way. So you're honest, you're direct, you own any issues or mistakes, and you show how you will address them and stick to your word. You're like that solid friend that everybody wants to be around. So when you're being authentic, you can't use just like marketing jargon, okay, or superlatives. You shouldn't overpromise. All right. Honestly, you should underpromise a little. Say, hey, we're going to do our best, and we're going to always be there for you. And then you should not overpromise, and you definitely don't want to oversell. In general, in sales, you want to underpromise and overdeliver. You want to tell people, hey, man, we're going to do our best, when you're going to really crush it. Okay. So you're establishing it. Oh, here it is, Wendy's. Nice. All right. Establish a tone of voice. I've been promising you. All right. All right, so Gabriel Rodriguez at Wendy's, BK for the win. What'd they win? A participation trophy? Wendy's is just savage. McDonald's says today, we've announced that by mid-2018, all quarter-pounder burgers at the majority of our restaurants will be cooked with fresh beef. What does that mean? So you still use frozen beef in most of your burgers in all your restaurants. Asking for a friend. All right, Mika says, can you find me the nearest McDonald's? Wendy's is like, got you right here. It's a trash can. I love Wendy's. I don't eat a lot. I do not eat a lot of fast food, but I'm here to tell you, okay, Wendy's is a solid follow on Twitter. It is a solid follow. So, in terms of platforms, which one should be using? All right, straight out your reading. Retail, Facebook's good. It's got the marketplace. Instagram's good. Pinterest, good. Twitter, you can't really sell anything. LinkedIn, no. Go try selling t-shirts on LinkedIn. It's not going to work well. YouTube, maybe, if it's like a specialty t-shirt, then you let people know. Okay? And then it's, if media, if you look at here and Snapchat and all that down here. Sports, let's look at sports. Facebook, maybe. I don't know a lot of sports sites that do a lot on Facebook. They definitely blow up Instagram. ESPN's all over Instagram. The Athletic is all over Instagram. Pinterest doesn't do anything. They're trying to figure out how to knit socks over there. They don't care what's going on. Twitter, breaking news, media, absolutely. Okay. LinkedIn, no. LinkedIn's where you sell you, not any of this other stuff. All right. Financial services, yeah, you're selling you there. Healthcare, not so much. I don't pick my doctor off of LinkedIn. YouTube, that's a media content platform. And then you can read on about the others. And again, that's in your reading. All right, create and optimize social media networks. Fill out each section of a social media profile completely. It needs to be completely filled out. It means you need a website, you need a place for them to call, maybe an address or at least a town you're in. Update cover photos and profile pictures. Make sure they're attractive. That's kind of your billboard. Make usernames, profile photos, and cover photos consistent across networks. You want to have one message, one time, not a bunch of different voices. We talked about filling in the company bio and about sections. Add a URL website for your company or for you. Like for your brand, if my brand is Jonathan Kiesler and I have like jonathankiesler.com, I'm going to have that on there. Include relevant industry keywords. That's pretty important. Hashtags. Pretty big. You see a lot of people on Instagram that say, "Hey, ignore the hashtags." You know why? They're trying to attract everybody that they're trying to attract. So if you're attracting soccer players, hashtag soccer players, hashtag World Cup, that type of thing. You just have like so many down the bottom that'll pop up in people's feeds. Then use relevant hashtags, add business locations, ensure the brand guidelines are being followed. Go back to your plan. You're making a strategy here. Do not go off plan. Don't say, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna post about politics today." Don't do it. Don't do it. You have to issue an apology later. Because no matter what, think about it as a business, okay? No matter what, the country's pretty much split right down the middle, left and right? Like literally 50%, 50%, okay? 50%, 50%. So no matter what you say, if you get into politics, you're going to make half the country mad at you. Why would you try to decrease your customer base by 50% overnight when a silly like social media post? Be careful, all right? Now, what's your distribution and content strategy? All right. Distribution strategy within social media determines the network and which network you're going to use and the frequency of posts. All right. And content types will be published on each network. How often should you be posting? So if your people love updates, you can typically always get away with posting more. However, Facebook, 8 to 10 per week. Instagram, 5 to 10 per week, or 2 per week on stories. Maybe do both, so 8 to 16. Twitter, you got to be active, 21 to 70 per week. Instagram, or I'm sorry, not Instagram. That was Instagram below Facebook there, but Pinterest, you've got to go 35 to 70 per week. LinkedIn, I'm sorry, I skipped that one. 8 to 15 per week. That LinkedIn is kind of you saying, "Hey, one of these days I want to work for BMW," and you're sharing industry relevant posts, articles, that type of thing that builds your brand as someone being interested in working in a luxury car. Snapchat, 5 to 20 per week. Be careful with that one. Everybody's like, "Oh, these stories disappeared." No, they don't. Screenshots are a thing. Okay, be careful. So you start to bring all these things together, man. Types of content for social media. You got images, videos, podcasts, other people's contents that you're sharing, text. And there's so many different directions you can go with this. The more you think about it, the more it starts to expand. Okay, it's kind of like just a web of things that can happen here. The planning, development, and management of social media content needs to be part of your strategy. So this includes actual written posts, types of content such as videos, blogs, infographics that can be published on each platform. Obviously, you get on Instagram, that's more pictures, that's more images, top left. Twitter and Facebook, you get text down there. Facebook, you can go images or text or videos. You can do videos on Instagram as well. Podcast, you're talking about something different. Website or blogs, you're trying to get them to a different location. So what is your strategy? How do you deliver your message? And then which platform fits? Now, that doesn't come out of your head. That comes out of your marketing research about your personas and what your target market is, okay? So let's create a social media content calendar. So we have all these posts we want to make, right? Right here. And we have these different things we're going to do. You need to have a plan, all right? So social media content calendar allows for a social media manager to plan, create, and schedule content on a weekly or monthly basis. So surprise, I know how your posts just come to your head and you're like, "Hey, I'm going to post this." No, that's still planned, man, all right? So you're going to have an image, Monday, February 1st, 8 a.m. It's going to be a birthday party promotion, all right? Facebook post is going to say this. Instagram is going to say this. Here's the image for all of them, and here's where we want you to go. We want you to buy this jump house thing, okay? That's a plan. And then this row, it has, it's months out. It's like a week out, all right? You just build and build and build. You can do all this at once. And then insert images, like if you're a customer or something, all right? You can update these images as we go. It's just a plan. I mean, you can do this right in Excel. So, it's something you've really gotta be able to put together. Okay, so create a social media content calendar and publish posts. All right, so you're putting this together, something like this, only row after row after row. All right, so again, images, videos, blog posts, if that's to you. Infographics is something we do as a college. All right, it's like letting you know about our college, what we can do for you, how our students of your have performed over time. Ebooks, maybe you're trying to be an author or something. Case studies, you get a little in depth. Case studies probably more like a LinkedIn type thing. Third party industry and articles. You know, just, hey, that's aligning me. That I want to work for BMW. I'm going to share interesting things. I'm going to connect with people who are potential bosses at BMW, but then they can also see that I share things that are interesting, which lets them know I'm interested in that industry. Maybe they find something that's interesting. They start following me a little closer. They're like, hey, man, why don't we hire this person? White papers, tip sheets. These are less and less relevant as we go. Podcasts, that's a thing. If you want to get your ideas out there on a podcast, right now, if I was a professor looking for a job, I think I'd record some podcasts where I'm teaching some things, okay? And see if I couldn't make that an attractive type thing to build my brand. So create a social media content calendar and publish posts. It's recommended for brands, social media management tools such as Hootsuite, Sprinklr, Sprout Social, and Buffer to schedule posts. There are actually apps out there that you can use that you preload what you want to have posted and when you want to have posted, and that's how it rolls out. So it's not just you hit and click, all right? Then once you start rolling out this strategy, it's up to you to track, analyze, and tune, okay? 46% of business-to-business marketers, B2B, business-to-business marketers are unsure if their social strategy actually creates a revenue for the brand. So they spend like half the people spend all this time on social media, and they have no clue if it's working for them. Don't be that person, all right? Make some metrics. First you want to get followers, right? Then you want to get likes. Then you want to get reach. Okay, all right. And you want your followers to interact with you and feel like they're engaged. You can measure all those things in Facebook. You have Facebook analytics. You can do that in Instagram. Same thing. All right. Tracking social media metrics, analyzing the results, and adjusting social media strategy. So like if you're not hitting home, you got to change. You need to go back all the way back to step one and revisit that persona. Maybe Frank's not the person I need to be going after. Maybe it is Susan. Okay, you need to be able to pivot. All right, there's a little bit of entrepreneurship to this. All right, the key to success when you come to social media is making sure your strategy is on point. All right, track, analyze, and tune again. Tuning, the continuous process of adjusting and improving social media marketing plan. Here's the thing. You can have a calendar set up to like have all these happy, cheery posts and something tragic happen in the nation. You better tune your message and not say, it's a great day in America the day after there was a terrorist attack. All right? You got to be aware of that. All right? You can step in it real fast. You get one of those calendar apps, you put everything together, and 2 months ago you plan to have like a happy, sunny post that day, and it's not a happy, sunny kind of day. So make sure your tune is right. Make sure your tone is right. Make sure you're on top of that. That's the one thing about social media. If you screw up, it'll go sideways quick on you. All right? Determine if the goals and objectives set were met and what changes need to be met to meet goals. Determine what topics and content perform best on each social media platform, and then roll with it, whatever works best. Create new content, a new contest based on top performing results. So that says contest. It should be content. Determine if the current content and distribution strategy is the right approach. Again, adjust as needed. If it's not getting the results you need, do not keep doing it. Move on. All right. The only failure in life is the failure to learn. So if something messes up, own it, move it, track it, tune it, get it right. Chapter 3, social media marketing strategy. Thank you so much.